last time I made a video was about 37 days until we were ready to leave, and now we're down to 13 days. I'm actually standing inside of our RV. The slides are all in. Getting ready tomorrow to take it in to have an air canister installed and an air line put into our hitch area so that the Jeep I'm going to be towing can have air brakes hooked to it, just like the motorhome. I did a previous video about that, and I'll take you in the garage in a minute and show you that Air Force One braking system. I'm real impressed with the RV shop in this area. Actually, it's called Eric's RV. It's up here in the Olympic Peninsula area. They're about the only game in town, but they have many years of experience. The actual gentleman that's doing the work on my Jeep and this motorhome had owned his own shop for years, and he's definitely old school. You can tell he's one of these kind of guys that could probably fabricate anything out of steel or whatever he needs to do. I'm just really impressed with their workmanship. But before I go in the garage and show you that, I'll show you a few things that I've got or I've recently purchased that you've probably seen on many videos. Lots of people talk about these things, but I'll just quickly touch on it. I'll quickly turn the camera around. One of them, of course, is an RV surge protector. Can't emphasize enough. I have kind of a background in, well, doesn't really matter, but I know quite a bit about electrical stuff, and you definitely want to purchase one with a heavy gauge cable, one that's more than capable of handling 50 amps. This one has a bunch of safety or idiot lights on it that tell you, if there's an open ground, open neutral, if there's something wrong with the incoming power. You definitely want to use one of these. There is no the cost to rewire an RV like this would be horrendous should there be a surge of electricity if something happened at the pedestal. Now these units, this motorhome we have does have a built-in surge guard, but this is kind of like icing on the cake. Very important, and this is isolated outside away from the motorhome. This is at the pedestal. Comes with a lock. I can't remember the brand. Now, I bought it on Amazon. Can't recall the brand, but it was about $30, $40. Arrived quickly, looks to be well made. I think this is made in China, which is sad. It's hard to find ones of these made in the U.S. I also got a really good pressure regulator. It's all brass. RV Guard. Read a lot of reviews. These are good. Very high quality. And then as far as our internet goes, I have chosen to go with a T-Mobile hotspot. Kind of amazing that this little device will deliver 5G in and around our motorhome. We get about 100 gigabytes a month, and then it reduces down to 4G, which should be fine. This is just for our tablets and computers. We obviously have internet access on our phones, which is unlimited. So those are a few things I wanted to talk about. T-Mobile seems to be good for RV internet. I'm looked into Starlink. I haven't decided on that. I don't know if we need a system that sophisticated. For now, we're going to be relying on our antennas on the motorhome for our TV. And then most of the places we've booked already have cable that are, that can hook up to the motorhome from the park. Like the first place we're staying has like 80 channels. So I'm not too worried about TV. I'm planning on doing more stuff than sitting around watching TV. Anyway, this is the inside of the Integra Anthem collapsed, or with the slides in. I'll just walk you back real quick so you can kind of see what one of these looks like. It's a master area. Hard to see. The bed's in disarray because we're not sure what we're doing with that yet. There's a large master bath back there with a shower that I can't really get to because the slides are in. There's a half bath here. Real nice half bath. Mirrors. Fan. I have all the lights on in here. Residential refrigerator, which is basically brand new. The person we bought it from had this replaced. which was funny because they didn't like the Samsung that came with it. So this refrigerator is brand new. It hasn't been used. There's, what, 4 TVs. There's a big 55-inch there, a TV over the cab, TV in the master, and there's another TV outside, which is a 40-inch, I believe. Surround sound. We're actually kind of going to be spoiled. This thing has a little fireplace in it. Anyhow, let me take you into the garage and I'll show you the Air Force One braking system. So here we are in the garage. I'll go over this real quick. So this is the Air Force One braking system installed in the engine compartment in my Jeep. It's a Demco Air Force One. The company did a real nice job, or as best as they could, to route all this wiring. Something like this, you know, unless you're really handy, I would, and some of this wiring is my own for a battery charger thing I have, but I would really recommend, and like I said, unless you're really handy and have proper tools for crimping wires and everything, to have this done at a professional shop. You know, they are making some modifications. They have to tap into a line over here, a T for the booster of the brake pedal. So there's a little bit of some liability involved. That's why I felt like something like this, you know, in combination with me not having all of my tools here, because when we left San Diego, a lot of my tools we put into to a little storage area that we have at my in-laws. But anyway, so how it works, the brake line or the air line from the motorhome gets attached to this air valve here, or like a Schrader valve or an air chuck or whatever. It comes from the motorhome air system, from the air brakes. It clips onto this just like you'd clip on an air compressor line. Of course, you plug in your brakes here, excuse me, your lights. This is your tow bar, you know, attachments for your tow bar. But in this here is a breakaway plunger that once for God forbid, if it ever came loose, it was pulled, it would lock up the brakes. So how this works is the air goes into this, goes up into this control module here, and from this control module there's air sent, well, air and electronically sent to a stainless steel and aluminum kind of a plunger that's hooked up under the dash and attached to the brake pedal. And when the brakes are applied in the motorhome, the same amount of air pressure or brake pressure that's being applied to the motorhome brakes is sent through this. It activates the plunger on the Jeep and will apply the same amount of brakes. If you're going to skid in the motorhome, the Jeep will skid. You know, you don't want to do that, but if it ever happened, that's how it works. It's a pretty sophisticated system, but the reason people like these is you set it and forget it. There's no lugging a big module in and mounting it to the floor, pulling it out when you want to drive your Jeep. I mean, just pulling that stuff out when you want to unhook at a campground's a pain in the butt. That's my opinion. This system here, set it and forget it. The only thing I need to do is hook my airline up here. That's it. Hook up my airline, and my Jeep now effectively has almost literally like air brakes or air actuated hydraulic brakes for my Jeep. As mentioned before, these systems, you know, with the tow bar, the labor involved, the base plate down here, this base plate, I don't know if you can see it, it's up under my cover, big steel heavy duty base plate that mounts to the frame. Those are about $400 or $500. All this other work, labor and everything, it's about $5,000. You can get away with stuff a little cheaper. Some people are opting to use these like surge brakes hitches. The problem with those on a diesel pusher that has a Jake brake or has, you know, basically a Jake brake, when you're going down a hill and that Jake brake is engaging, it is constantly trying to lock up the brakes on your Toad. And what you're going to end up with one of those systems is a bunch of burned out brakes. In this system here, the only time these brakes on this Jeep come on are when the brakes in my motorhome come on, the physical brake pedal. And so it preserves the life of the brakes. And anybody that's driven a big diesel pusher knows with the Jake brake going down a hill, you almost, I mean, I drove from Idaho to here. It was about 600 miles up and down some hills. I rarely have to even put my foot on the brake pedal other than just to come to a stop. Anyhow, that's about it for today. I did get a really nice Hollywood bike rack. You see it here. Hollywood brand, sorry, upside down. Very heavy duty. This bike rack is set up to carry 2 electric bikes and has a capacity of 180 pounds. So that's quite a bit of capacity for 2 heavy electric bikes. You don't want to skimp on that either. Anyhow, have a good day, and I hope to make another video when we get to our first campground in 13 days. We'll talk then. Thanks.